don't have to deal with any of the bull. Is Dallas drafting a quarterback? Well, it's a strong maybe, according to Adam Schefter, who said this yesterday. The Cowboys might be a sleeper team in the quarterback market during the draft because at some point in time, they might have to draft a quarterback higher than you think. Joining us here.
Wow.
What
a day.
Wearing Cowboy
That is a Cowboy
tie.
Exciting.
And it's been so long.
I was ready. It has been a long time.
Great to see you.
Good to be back.
We'll start with, who wants to start?
I'll
Brew,
go.
you're the Cowboys guy, but
No,
Nick,
go
go
to
ahead.
Nick.
Your reaction to this story.
All right, so what are we talking about here? I think is an important thing to kind of set the template at. We're not talking about the top 4 quarterbacks. The Cowboys are not trading up into the top
6.
Well,
we're not talking about, right?
Well, I'll get to that part in a moment because the top 4 are going to be gone in the top, at worst, 11 picks of the draft, and probably the top 5 because someone's going to trade up.
Yep.
So we're not talking about those guys. If we were just talking about someone like Jordan Travis or Joe Milton, like a 5th or 6th round pick,
Sure.
then I don't even think it's a story.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the Cowboys traded a 4th for Trey Lance. So I read this as if Bo Nix, if Michael Penix falls, maybe not to the Cowboys' 1st round pick, but as you and I were talking about post-mock draft the other day, if one of those guys is available in the 2nd round, that the Cowboys could take them. And my response to that is, if you like that quarterback, that's smart business. And the Cowboys haven't, Coach, when it comes to quarterback business, operated smartly. They have borrowed extensively from the future. Just this is a little cash cap thing, just so people understand. The Cowboys the last 3 years have paid Dak $126 million. That is accounted for $64 million against their cap. So there's a $62 million borrow from future caps. That's why this year he's $55 million, and next year he's $40 million to not be on the team. $40 million dead money if he's gone after this coming season because they've borrowed that money. So they need to, because they have not committed to Dak long term, at least be open to the possibility of resetting the quarterback contract clock like they did with Dak Prescott, a mid-round pick, by the way, and do it that. And so, yeah, I don't think that would be bad business. I think that would be smart business.
I think anytime you draft a quarterback, if you think he's got the potential to be good, it's good business. Because even if he doesn't become your starter, that's capital that you can then translate into higher draft picks in the future. So I get that, and I've always supported that. It's a pretty vague tweet, though, right? I mean, at some point, higher than you think. The last 2 quarterbacks I had, Dak was, 4th round?
Yeah.
Romo was a free agent. They haven't really drafted quarterbacks high, so I don't know why they would suddenly, jump up to get a guy unless they had some really strong feeling. But I'd like to see what Trey Lance can do. Trey Lance has had a year of sitting, a year of watching. He was drafted high for a reason. He's got ability. So what can he do in this system?
Coach has always been the Trey Lance guy.
Well, it's just hard for me to imagine you're going to go get a guy in the 3rd or 4th round that you think has more potential than what Trey Lance has after a year in your system. So is it an interesting tweet? Yeah. Could they draft someone higher than you think? Yeah, but what's the bar for the Cowboys? Is it the 4th round, 3rd round?
Just to clarify, he said this on NFL Live. So
we were reading a quote that he gave on TV.
I saw the quote too, but even when I saw it, I'm like, okay, well, that's
Coach,
nice and vague.
I'm glad you brought up Trey Lance because that was my first thought. Even before I thought about Dak Prescott, it was like, Trey Lance must not be good at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
that feels like
this is what you drafted or traded for Trey Lance for. The young quarterback, in case something happens with Dak, he's supposed to be a guy. Is he not showing them anything when he's running scout team at all? Like, they must just be out on him to consider this because here's the problem. And you're right. Maybe they draft a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round or 7th or 8th. I think they had some picks. But they only have 3 picks in the first 150 picks. All right. They need an offensive lineman or a few offensive linemen. They need a running back. To waste that on a quarterback when you got Dak Prescott there, supposedly Trey Lance, I mean, I just think it's bad. And look, this has been to me, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and it was incomplete. But this offseason, Coach, I'm sorry. After saying you're going to be all in, how many starters? You lost your center, Tyler Biadasz. You lost your best running back. You lost one of your best pass rushers, Endurance Armstrong. You lost your defensive coordinator. You lost your offensive tackle. All right? Your best wide receivers talking about sitting out or holding out. You know, now there's reports that you don't like your best player, Micah Parsons, and you're not going to re-sign your quarterback, and now you're talking about drafting somebody else?
But hold on.
And I didn't mean to do this.
What is he doing?
But fellas,
Oh, no.
bring it out.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's too much.
This
This is
offseason,
Bro, watch your
this
head.
We haven't
offseason
even gotten to the
has
draft.
been an F
My
for
goodness.
the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
I couldn't help myself,
seems
but it's
extreme.
just true.
I got you.
This
Wild.
seems like
All right,
a really
that seems a
hot
little
It's
hard.
just true.
I mean, Coach
what
is
is
here,
going to
so-
some man? Am I wrong,
It
Coach?
might be fair.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Goodness
I mean, what
gracious.
does all in mean? All in means to go get one linebacker? Like, what does all
No,
in
that
mean?
quote has not. That quote is not lined up with their offseason. There's no question
You
about
think?
that. That part I don't disagree with. What I do though wonder is on the quarterback part of it is if they are. The Cowboys do seem to like to negotiate through the media.
Yes.
Right?
Another thing.
And if they are, because I think they are playing a bit of chicken with Dak Prescott. Because I'm sure whether they're saying it or not, one of the things that they think they have as kind of a bullet in the chamber, so to speak, is, hey, Dak, the last few notable Cowboy quarterbacks, what's their post-career earnings look like? You see Troy Aikman making 8 figures for, I'm not counting Troy's money, I love them, they deserve the money, but those are big, 2 of the most high-profile
More than they
NFL
made
jobs,
playing.
right, for him. And you can say, you know, this offseason you're going to entertain, you're going to go to the highest bidder, but you know, what if it's about money, how much money is it worth being the Cowboys quarterback versus being the Tennessee Titans quarterback or whomever? I also would say this, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, Coach.
I mean, are we assuming that Dak's going to be a really good announcer?
Well, no, I don't. Well, I don't.
What
no,
other
But even when
No,
during your
that's-
career, you're making money off the field.
Yeah, and
as
so
a
no,
Cowboys
that's fair.
player.
But this is where I wanted to see if you agree with me on.
Backfield's good.
I think that this past season was a worst case scenario from a Dak contract, figuring out Dak's future standpoint, which is you got the best and the worst mixed into one. If you're the Cowboys and you're like, all right, we're going to have to figure out after the 2023 season, we know we're facing a deadline on Dak Prescott and his deal. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing. Are we going to move off him or are we going to extend him? What are we going to do? And in the regular season, he has the best one of his career.
Yep.
He's a legitimate MVP candidate. And it's like, wow. You know what I mean? He lost his offensive coordinator,
Get
did
the
that.
checkbook.
Exactly right. And in the playoff game, he has, I would argue, his worst postseason game as a significant favorite.
He wasn't alone in that game.
No, I
In
totally
that
agree
first
with
half,
you.
there was a 95-yard drive. There was a 75. There was
There's
a lot of people.
a lot of people to blame.
Your boy had one half tackle or whatever.
Why is he my guy?
Well, I know you want
Well,
to
that
go
was your
on.
team this year. That was
You
your
want to
team.
go on his podcast
Okay, that's
all the
fine.
time.
It's a solo podcast. He doesn't have guests. But the point is, it really complicated the situation. Right? Like, if Dak had just been bad, it's easy. If it had just been a regular year where it's like, hey, we win a playoff game, we get beat by the Niners in round 2, it's probably easy. But he was so good in the regular season and then so bad along with his teammates in the playoffs, it muddied the waters entirely on what they're going to do moving forward at this position.
Can I just, we only have about one more minute left, but I'm going to show you a graphic, Coach, and I think Coach likes this stuff. Once the franchise quarterback comes in, has a monster year after Jimmy G, one of the winningest quarterbacks of all time, and once Jordan Love was drafted, which Aaron Rodgers did not like, he had to pour himself a large glass of whiskey, 2 fingers, I think he said. So, Coach, do you like the idea that if the Cowboys did draft a quarterback, Dak would somehow get to the next level?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd put Dak on the same graphic as Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but I see what you're saying. I think those two guys are pretty special, and I'm not killing Dak here, but I don't know if he's quite at their level. And yeah, you can look at this and say, guys typically play better in a contract year, and when they're playing for money, which is fine. But I don't think Dak has anything to worry about. We saw what Kirk Cousins just got paid.
He's going to get money no matter what.
He's going to get paid no matter what. They've had 3 12-5 seasons. He, 36 touchdowns, like 9 picks, best completion percentage, best quarterback rate. He's got all these great things that he did in the system. And for him, he's got to see who the head coach is. He doesn't know McCarthy's on his last year, too. And there's a lot of things that Dak can look at organizationally. And here's my advice to Dak. Don't worry about the Dallas alumni organization things that you're going to go sign autographs after you retire. Go get as much money as you can right now and try to maximize your earning potential.
Hates one of your graphics. He's so kind to that.
I
when he doesn't like mine.
No, I loved the graphic. I just didn't know if I would put him in the same.
A great episode of Weird and Wonderful, and the Patriots losing our way. Coach was upset about it.